These things that I'm going to show you here are actually considered wrong, according to a lot of people. Nobody ever teaches this stuff. Listen up. I'm going to take this brand new torch lead here and I am going to cut this little spot here. Okay, but this first tip here is a big one. And this will help you out with a lot of tricky welds that usually gets a lot of people sweating. As we all know by now, TIG welding does not always go to plan. Look at this here, pretty straightforward, right? This is a basic joint, but one of the most common struggles that I hear from my students is that they have a rough time getting a correct torch angle for something like this. You can see here that the torch handle is bonking into the table, and the ideal torch angle that we want is not going to happen. Now picture yourself welding some out of position stuff. Like for example, you're welding out of a corner, perhaps you're welding some coped pipe joints or something like that. If you want to remain comfortable with good torch technique, try this here. You're going to hold your torch as you would normally, and what you're going to do is you're going to slightly twist the torch like this. Can you see how I've just pointed the butt of the torch in the direction that I'm going to be traveling? Now, when we do something like this, you might think that we're going to be doing a little bit more of a pulling technique, but hear me out on this one here first. What it's going to do is it's going to give us much more freedom to get the correct torch angle that we want into tight joints. Like I said, this is very helpful when trying to weld out of a corner. But one of the most common things that I see is people leaving comments when I've showed this trick before saying, but now you're not using the proper travel angle anymore. Well, actually, if you're doing the twist technique like we're talking about in this example here, you can see from this angle that my travel angle actually is still bang on. As long as you're paying attention to make sure that this angle remains correct, the twist allows us to keep proper travel angle while we're welding, but now we get the freedom to have a little more adjustment that we can make with the torch angle. This is much more helpful when you're welding on more intricate type joints. I find this especially helpful when you're welding around coped pipe joints, especially stuff on angles. You take a look at this example here, you can imagine you can't always get the ideal torch angles you think you should. And because with something like this joint here, we are tending to do a little bit more of a pulling motion, you could say, I find that this actually allows me to travel around a joint like this a lot easier. This is going to give us much more freedom to make adjustments and get better angles on what we need, as well as travel much more comfortably. And honestly, being more comfortable means you have to do less stop starts with joints like this. Now, this is something that most people don't know about. But after I show people this one, I find that most people won't argue with me on it. Actually, that's not true. People still do. Now, this trick has saved me a ton of headaches when I am welding, as well as a ton of wrist pain for my torch hand. Now, look at this example here. Can you see what's going on here? Take a look at it for a second. If you haven't noticed it, take a look at this. You can see that the torch lead I am holding is hanging all the way to the ground. Now, there's a couple things that this is going to do that is going to be bad news for you. First, I mentioned wrist pain. This is something that can cause pretty extreme wrist fatigue that does add up over time. I used to work in welding production for almost 2 decades. I'd literally be sitting or standing at my table for 10 hours a day welding, and with the weight of a torch lead hanging off your hand, it adds up and you can get some pretty sore stuff or problems going on with your wrist or hand. Having your torch lead hanging all the way to the ground puts constant resistance on your wrist and your hand. So if you're like me, we want to avoid any kind of hand or wrist problems. We are going to be manipulating the torch like this across different joint configurations and different positions. And all of the weight of the torch lead is going to be pulling at the fittings on the inside of your torch. Yes, that's right, inside your torch. You can see here we have multiple fittings that are going to be under slight pressure. This is going to contain the welding gas, or you can have a water-cooled torch, and these can be filled with water as well, both hot and cold. Now, as you're welding repeatedly, these lines are going to be heating up and cooling down rapidly. So if these fittings are constantly heating up and then as well being put under strain from the weight of your torch lead, what do you think is eventually going to happen? Either these fittings are going to come loose or you're going to pop a leak somewhere. The hoses can begin to fray right in this area here. Like I mentioned, these are under pressure from water or gas. And after constant manipulation over a given amount of time, as well as constant resistance of your torch lead pulling on it, you are going to pop a leak, my friend. Gas leaks are super annoying because you can't see them right away. Gradually, your welding is just going to start to look worse and worse. Things are going to look dirtier, not as shiny as you think they should. But because it takes a while for you to notice that this is happening, this could be happening to you right now and you have no idea yet. Now, like we mentioned, water can be super annoying to deal with as well. What can happen is, as I said, these fittings could back off slightly and start to leak, or you could pop a leak somewhere in this area here as well. And the water can leak all the way back through your welding torch sheath. And depending on what type of material this is made of for you, it could be a while before you even notice that this is leaking. And then after you notice that everything is wet and it's leaking all over the floor, everything is soaking wet, trying to find the actual source of where the dripping or the leak is coming from is virtually impossible. Is it coming from here? Over here? Maybe here? How can you tell if everything is absolutely soaking wet? And also, do not forget, we are working with electricity. Yes, I have seen people get zapped from working with wet gloves, clothes that are a little bit wet, or some other wet gear. Working with electricity when water is involved is dangerous. But here is a trick that's going to take care of all these problems. Let's go. Get a clamp, clip it to the edge of your table like this. You're then going to pass your torch through it like this, and bingo, you have just cut the weight of your torch lead in half or even less. The dexterity of your torch is also going to become much easier to manipulate. This is going to help you to avoid sore wrists or hands. But here is the biggest thing that this is going to do. We now have way less weight on the torch, so the fittings inside are going to be under way less pressure. The chances of popping a leak have just become much less overall. And here's the awesome thing. In the event you do form a leak somehow, the water is only going to travel from here to here. It will then drip out of the bottom right here, and you will have much less ground to cover to find the source of where the water is coming from. Seriously, putting a clamp on your table like this is going to help you in multiple ways. But guess what? People still try and argue with me that this is a stupid idea and this is wrong. I've talked about this on my channel before, and dude, that's not gonna work. What about when you have to move and weld somewhere else on your table? That's great for someone who's not moving around at all. What about people who weld on actual big projects? Holy smokes, guys, are you ready for this? Hold on to your butts. Unclip your clamp and move it. Not a big deal, pretty mind-blowing, right? Save yourself some of these troubles and try this out. You're gonna love it. You can still move around your table, no problem. But this next one is one that so many people have argued online with me about. People seem to lose their damn minds on this one. But I will stand by this one as being something that can really save you some of these headaches that we've talked about already. Okay, here we go, watch this. This is a brand new torch lead. We can see that the sheath over the torch lead is usually fastened or sealed up to the torch somehow. But look at what I'm gonna do here. Uh-oh. With my torch that I have here, I am simply going to clip off this part, and then I'm going to pull the sheath back a few inches, and I will use a little bit of electrical tape or something like that to secure it back to the lines. I've showed this before and I've had people freak out in the comments. You're supposed to leave this covered up. If this touches something hot, it's going to melt these. I'll talk about that in a second here, hang on, but here's why I do it. Detaching this area and then using a little bit of electrical tape to seal it up here completely is going to help you with a couple things. The first thing it's going to help you out with is the ease that you're going to feel with manipulating the torch. The dexterity is going to be much better. You're going to be able to move your hand around so much easier, and we already eliminated about half of the weight of the lead, so this is going to make it even better. Now, I'm a left-handed welder, and there's been so many times when I have to go over and jump on somebody else's machine, use their setup. So when I go to grab someone else's torch and the sheath is fastened right up to the handle, you're gonna find that the sheath is only broken in for somebody who is using this with a dominant hand, which unfortunately for me is the opposite way. My fault for being a southpaw, I guess. Now, leaving a bit of space in between the torch handle and the sheath is gonna help to solve this problem. The torch will be just as flexible no matter which way you're holding it. And here's something else that I teach my students. I recommend that people learn how to weld joints with both hands, not just their dominant hand. This creates much better consistency with your welding overall if you can do this. And guess what? Sometimes in the real world, when you're welding on big projects, you don't exactly always have the luxury of using your dominant hand. You have to switch sometimes. So prevent your gear from breaking in only one way. So if you ever have to switch hands and weld with your other hand, you're not gonna have any problems doing so. Now, the other comment about melting your lines, to be honest, this is something that I actually agree with. Yes, this is valid. You do have to be careful about your surroundings and what is hot. You have to be careful of this at all times. But again, we have pulled it back only a couple inches. It's not a big deal. And I am going to assume that you are mindful enough as to what's hot around your working area. You're not touching things with your elbows or your arms. Just be careful. Do the same thing with your torch. Trust me, this is something that's going to help out a lot with your dexterity, but there is something else. Remember how we talked about how nice it would be if you had to narrow down the search for a leak somewhere? We talked about how hanging it over a clamp like this would cut this area into a much shorter area that you had to find a leak. But this is even better. Watch this. Chances are, if you spring a leak, it's going to be at these fittings here or this area here. Except now, as the first couple drips start, they're going to start right here and drip out right here. And the tape down your lines is going to stop it from going back into the sheath and soaking it wet. You're going to notice a leak immediately when it happens, not after it gets everything else soaking wet. You're going to be able to know that this is unsafe and stop welding immediately. This is literally being aware of the problem that's occurring within seconds of it happening. I absolutely recommend that you consider trying this one out. Better dexterity overall, better safety, and also helping our stuff to last a lot longer as far as torch consumables and lines. This is something that's going to help you out a lot. And make sure that you check out my free TIG welding classes on my website. They're on demand. You can take them as many times as you want, whenever you want. And again, they're completely free. Enjoy. Bye.